Hello everyone, this is Manjula Devi P, working as Assistant Professor in GFGC Kanakpura. In this session, we are discussing about Strategic Management of BBA 6th semester, Bangalore University. In that, Unit 3, Strategic Planning. In this unit, today in this session, we are talking about Expansion Strategy. Under expansion strategy, cooperation strategy and internationalization strategy. Actually, in the previous session itself, we have started this expansion strategy. In the expansion strategy, we have 5 different strategies which can be applied, like it was concentration strategy, it was diversification strategy, then integration strategy, which has already been discussed in the previous session. So, these 2 strategies under expansion strategy is discussed in this session. Okay. Basically, expansion strategy means the growth strategy where the business organization wants to broaden its scope, wants to increase its level of operations to have higher profit margins, sometimes of course for survival, to reach the different markets, to have its own goodwill in the market, to have to create the reputation in the market. So, for various reasons, companies go for this expansion or growth strategies. So, in this session, we will see what is cooperation strategy and what are the different variants which can come in cooperation and what is internationalization. To start with, expansion through cooperation. So, what is cooperation strategy? So, in this strategy, or this is followed when an organization enters into mutual agreement with the competitor to carry out the business operations and compete with one another at the same time with the objective to expand market potential. So, here it is like you are combining or you are cooperating through some form with your competitor. Either you are merging with him or you are taking over with him, or you are having a strategic alliance, you are having a strategic partnership with your competitor or any other firm to expand your market potential, to provide better goods and services, to have a greater profits, or to take the advantage of both your core competency and the partner with whom you are cooperating or with whom you are having the alliance, to have the benefits of them both. Okay. So, let us see what are the different ways in which this cooperation strategy can be executed. The most common ways where through cooperation strategy where you can have expansion, we have mergers, we have takeovers, we have joint ventures, then we have strategic alliances. So, let us see each one in detail. What is the meaning of merger and what are the recent mergers we have seen? Then what is a takeover? What happens in the takeover and how does joint ventures work, and what is strategic alliance? That means by taking any of this strategy, you are basically expanding your operation through the cooperation of your strategic partner or the other person. He may be your competitor or he may be somebody, some company which is going to add value to your organization. To start with, let us take merger as one of the cooperation strategy. Under merger, what happens? It is a combination of 2 or more firms wherein one acquires the assets and liabilities of the other in exchange of cash or shares or both. The organization gets dissolved and a new organization comes into existence. So, here in this case what happens? 2 or more companies, they combine together, they combine their assets and liabilities. So, in this case it is technically called as amalgamation. So, in this one company may the other company may get dissolved in it, or both of them join together and form a new company. So, it could be any variant. Basically here 2 or more companies, or let us take 2 companies combined together, gets merged and provides the services, goods and services to the consumers. So what are the recent mergers? So you would have heard about Vodafone and Idea. So Idea was a telecom player, Vodafone. So Vodafone and Idea got merged, and now Vodafone is with, Idea is with Vodafone, and they are providing better service. So they are grabbing more market share, combining together instead of competing with each other. Same way, I was giving example in the other session about state banks getting merged together into SBI and then forming, then operating in the name of SBI. So all the assets, liabilities, all the employees, they all become part of now SBI's employees. So this is one way of expanding, where you are taking other company and getting it merged with you, so you are becoming a big company. Okay, so where the concept of big is beautiful can be worked if in the case of merger. So the recent, if I have to quote, it is Vodafone with Idea, then Walmart took over, Flipkart merged with Walmart, Tata and Chorus Steel, so they got merged with, so that now they have become, Chorus Steel became part of Tata and they are operating in the brand name of Tatas. Then what is takeover? It is slightly different than the merger. So in this, what happens, one firm, considerably a big firm, okay, acquires the other firm, which is relatively a small firm compared to this firm, and from then onwards that firm becomes the subsidiary of this. Okay, so again this takeover can happen where you are taking the shares of that small company. Suppose you are acquiring, say, 20% of the shares of XYZ company, then you, since you have 20% of stake of that company, you have a say in the management of that company, or maybe you are taking more than 50% of the shares. So they are directly become your subsidiary and you are having a complete hold on that management of the other company. So you are taking over the other company and they become your subsidiary. So in the takeover, again, it could be voluntary friendly takeover or it could be a hostile takeover. Friendly takeover happens when the company whose shares are bought by the bigger company, they voluntarily wants to sell their stake to that company and voluntarily wants to become the subsidiary. But in hostile, what happens, the big company, they take it forcefully or through other means, like they convince the other shareholders and they fix the rate at which it has to be taken, so that if the other shareholders don't want to be part of that big company, but still because they are able to take it because they are powerful, they have more money or more capital, so this company has been taken over by the bigger company. So it could be friendly or hostile. So in this company, what happens, in this case, both the companies, the idea is both the companies should get benefited by each other. So a big company would take over the other company only if they see something interest in them. Yeah, it could be a part of backward integration or forward integration. So some purpose or some reason, so they want to take over and they want to put it under their brand, so that the smaller company starts operating according to the direction of the parent company which has taken it over. Okay. So in this case, the recent examples I would like to quote. This is Mittal Steel is taken, Mittal Steel took over Arcelor, which is from France. Then India Jesco took over Dalmia. Then Imami and Zandu, you would have heard. So Imami took over Zandu. Then India Cement took over Rashi Cement. So likewise, if you find somebody is a competitor, or if you find any interest in the other company and you think they may become your bigger competitor in later, so the bigger companies takes the smaller companies. Okay, there are so many such case studies where the bigger companies, especially these MNCs, when they entered India, when they started operating, so many small companies, especially in the soft drinks, especially in many other segments, they took over these small companies and they started operating in their brand name. So they lost their individuality and started operating according to the whims and fancies of the big MNC which has taken over. Anyway, yeah, here in this expansion strategy, we are talking about more of a friendly takeover where both the companies gets benefited. Okay, the small company who is getting taken over gets benefited by all the economies of scale that it can operate, and it gets a lot of funds from the parent company and a lot of managerial support as well. Even the bigger company, the parent company which has taken over the subsidiary, even they can get benefited by adding the subsidiary company into their board. Okay, that could be one of the expansion strategy that can be followed. Then we have another type of expansion strategy through joint ventures. So in joint ventures, what happens? Two or more firms who are expertise in their own area, they agree to combine and carry out the business operations jointly. That means they'll all have their own individual identity, but they will come together in order to do some particular project, and once that project is done, accomplished, maybe this joint venture gets dissolved. For example, we have this metro transport. So for metro, there are so many, it's a consortium basically which is taken by the government of India. They have taken the expertise from so many, like IBM has given its expertise, and they have taken expertise from some other organization for the infrastructure, for construction, for the technology. That means all those companies have come together to make that work happen. Okay, and of course they all be given their profit share according to whatever the agreement that they have got into, and this joint venture would work for whatever the agreed period. After that, they get dissolved. So again, here again the advantage or the main idea is to capitalize the strengths of all the firms who are there in the joint venture. Or if you are talking about only two firms, take the strengths of both the firms. Suppose for a construction, for an infrastructure project, so all those companies who are into steel manufacturing, who are into cement manufacturing, who are into managing the laborers, they all are coming together and doing that whatever the infrastructure construction and sharing the profits thereon. So once that particular project is done, then the joint venture may get dissolved. So that's the example of joint venture. Yeah, even this is one of the expansion strategy that the company can follow. The next one, very interesting, strategic alliance. So in this case, the strategy expansion through cooperation, one of the form of cooperation, the firms unite or combine to perform a set of business operations but function independently and pursue individualized goals. So here none of the companies are losing their individuality, but still there is an alliance between these companies. For example, the best example I could quote of day-to-day business, if you go to KFC, that is Kentucky Fried Chicken, if you go to KFC, you get drinks from Pepsi. Okay, all the variants that is there under the Pepsi brand, you get them. If you go to McDonald's, you get the soft drinks from Coke, like all the variants. Actually, Pepsi and Coke are the competitors. They have products to compete with each other, like exact similar. Like they have Pepsi, they have Coca-Cola, and here they have Mirinda, they have Fanta. So here they have Maaza, here they have Slice. So something like that, where there is a competition, like here they have Mountain Dew, here they have I think Sprite or something like that, which is of similar taste. So here each one have got, again KFC and McDonald's are the competitors in the fast food packaged food industry. So here these two have got alliances, like KFC got alliance with Pepsi, McDonald's got alliance with Coke. So when you go to either KFC or McDonald's, you will find only those drinks available along with the whatever the order you take. So here what I am trying to say, in the strategic alliance, very important, So where both the companies operate together, but they'll have an understanding and they'll come together to achieve their own individualized goals. So again, there are so many examples of strategic alliances if I have to quote. So you have Starbucks, and there is a book stop. If you go to Starbucks, you get books from a particular bookstore. Okay, so then you also have fine. There are many other strategic alliances, like I gave about KFC, about Coke, Pepsi, and McDonald's and Starbucks, where they help each other, okay, through their alliance. This is one of the cooperation strategy that can be followed through cooperation, which is part of the expansion strategy. Then the next type of expansion strategy after cooperation, this is expansion through internationalization. So internationalization, the name itself indicates, where your operations are going beyond the boundaries of the domestic country. So of course, the moment you are going abroad, you are expanding your operation to the new territories, to the new boundaries. So here this is followed by an organization when it aims to expand beyond the national market. So beyond the national market, if you want to expand, then you can go for internationalization. So here internationalization arises when organization has explored all the potential to expand domestically and look for the expansion opportunities beyond the national boundaries. Suppose you have already expanded, you have already maybe hit the maturity within the domestic market. Now you want to go beyond. So then you can go think of internationalization. So in internationalization, you have different strategies. So what are the different ways of going into internationalization? First one, internationalization. The firm adopts here where create value offering those products and services to the foreign markets where they are not available. Like a very simple way, you are going into a foreign country where such product is not available. Like you are offering this product because that particular country doesn't have this type of product. So you are offering it there. Okay. This can be done by practicing a tight control over the operation in the overseas and providing the standard products with little or no differentiation. So here you are just giving whatever your core product, you are selling it in the foreign market. You are not making any changes, you are not making any differentiation. So because maybe your product is so unique or your services are so unique that you are straight away providing it there in a foreign country. That is international strategy. Next one, you have multi-domestic strategy. So this is one way of again going internationalization. So in this strategy, firms offer customized products and services to match the local conditions operating in the foreign market. So here, instead of selling your standardized product, whatever you have in the domestic country, straight away in the foreign country, you are making changes to that particular product according to the requirement of the foreign country, because the tastes and preferences, the geographical location, the expectation, everything would be different in a foreign country. Mainly the weather conditions, climate, it may differ. So the product may not be suitable, whatever you have, the standard product may not be suitable in a foreign country. So under multi-domestic strategy, you are offering your product there, but by making the changes according to that particular foreign market situation. Of course, it's slightly expensive because you have to make a thorough research and development, the country where you are going to operate. Maybe you have to set up a separate production unit in the foreign country to produce that, and then you have to give the service. This is multi-domestic strategy. So if you're operating in 10 different countries, maybe you have to have 10 different variant of the same product. Okay. Suppose here KFC and McDonald's, I was giving an example. See, in Indian market, in KFC and McDonald's, mostly you are served only with chicken, like chicken burgers and chicken nuggets and variants of chicken. In the foreign country, you also have the variants with pork. You also have the variants of KFC and McDonald's with what do you call the cow's meat or the pig's meat, whatever. Okay. In Indian market, it's not there because it's not that famous. There are a lot of emotional things attached to these food thing. So here they have only chicken as their base food when they are serving in Indian market. But in other market, maybe in African market, where I think cow's meat is more famous there. So something like that, where whichever the country they go, they change according to the tastes and preferences of that particular country. That is multi-domestic strategy. Then you have global strategy. So here this is basically a low cost structure and offer those products and services to the selected foreign markets in which they have the expertise. So here you are being little smart. So here whatever the products and services which you can sell globally, which has a ready market, like you don't have to alter your product according to that particular country's expectation or the taste, because it's already according to them. Suppose maybe there is one particular product, suppose let's say KFC chicken. So the chicken is there everywhere in every other country. Okay, maybe in some country they have different variants also along with whatever the KFC and McDonald's chicken variants. So that means it's a global strategy because everywhere it's the same taste, same thing. So it's a low cost structure where you don't have to make any new changes or new thing. So you are just selling the same product, or you are going to those countries where this can be accepted, where you don't have to make any much changes. That's the global strategy. So then you have transnational strategy. Under this strategy, the firm adopts combined approach of multi-domestic and global. The firms rely on both low-cost structure and the local responsiveness. So firm offers standardized products and services, at the same time make sure that it is in line with the local conditioning. So here you are just making a sort of sandwich of multi-domestic and global. Here you are being little extra smart by providing your standard product to the country where it is also acceptable according to the local domestic, whatever the tastes, preferences and rituals. So here basically you have a standardized product, or you have like 2-3 varieties of standardized product, and you are basically sending such product which can be acceptable in the foreign countries. So you have say variant A. This variant A product is acceptable say in XYZ countries. So you are sending only there. Then you have variant B, you are sending only to ABC companies, which can be accepted there. So here you are having a low cost structure also, because you are having standardized product, you don't have to make new according to the foreign market. At the same time, you are also selling the product which is acceptable, which is according to the tastes and preferences of that particular foreign country. This is transnational strategy. I think I gave the example of KFC, McDonald's and all. They are following the same strategy. Okay, they have certain standardized product and also certain products which is applicable for those particular countries also. Okay, so this is about the internationalization strategy. So in this session we discussed about mainly 2 types of expansion strategies. One is expansion through cooperation, the other one is expansion through internationalization. Now just to have a quick recap of what we have discussed so far. So if we go back, if we just have a quick recap, under cooperation strategy. So we had three variants: mergers, takeovers, we had joint ventures. In fact, four strategies we had: merger, takeover, joint venture. One second. Strategic alliance. So this four strategies we had: merger, where the companies gets merged together, one may lose its individuality or both may lose individuality and form a new company and start operating. Then you had takeover, where a larger company takes over the smaller company and then operates, where both gets benefited. Where we had joint venture, where the companies come together to pool their expertise for a particular project. Then you had strategic alliance, where the companies help each other so that they can have their own individualized goals satisfied without losing their identity. Okay. Then in the internationalization, you have international strategy, global strategy, multi-domestic strategy and transnational strategy. So each one to match with the foreign country requirements. So these are some of the references which I have used. So you can use them for further understanding of the concept. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the next session to discuss some more type of strategies. Thank you.